Welcome back, but I would like to take today to talk about some of the more pressing issues that just the media is not covering, but I feel like it's really important we talk about, such as, is cereal a soup? Now, I know what you're thinking. On the surface, that seems like a really easy question. Of course not. But, why not? Because you can't just say that cereal's cold, which makes it not a soup. Does that mean that cold soup isn't soup? Of course it is. So then the second obvious answer is, oh, well, it's milk-based. Of course it's not soup. But then there are, wow, nice. There are several cream-based soups. However, they have way too many R's in them for me to even try to pronounce them, so they're all too French. Let me kill this clown pierce skin guy, because he has a clown pierce skin. He doesn't know how to play this game. But then, why isn't cereal a soup? I've listed all the reasons it's not a soup. I'm getting beat up. But what's a good reason for it to not be a soup if those are not good reasons? Because, you know, oh, I'm gonna get beat up again. Because if we only look at it on the surface, it would appear that cereal is a soup. But then that kind of goes against basic intuition. So is it just that you have to randomly decide for yourself what is a soup and is not? Is soup a subjective truth? How do we really know? I think for me personally, the best distinguisher I've come up with is that it doesn't matter. Because is cereal a soup is missing a very important question. What is cereal? Because my first thought, is I'm gonna die. See, if we only focus on what is a soup, we kind of ignore the whole crux of the problem, which is not to come up with a set of qualifications that make a soup, but rather, it is to define whether or not cereal is a soup. But of course, to do that, we need to truly define cereal. Which, while you can have, I completely missed, while you can have hot cereals, most of the time when I hear this question being asked, it is in reference to a cold cereal, such as Cheerios, with milk. But then, there's an important issue here, because I think it is reasonable to argue that a bowl of cereal with milk added on top is soup. Why wouldn't it be? But that argument is a bit flawed, because of course, if you add liquid to a solid, you wind up with something that closely resembles soup to the point that it is virtually indistinguishable. But I feel like it's important to note that that's not really cereal, because that's like arguing a potato is soup, because if I add water to it, it's a liquid. Wow, I'm so rusty. So I feel like it's important to note that cereal, by itself, implies just the dry cereal. Which, that of course, is not a soup, because it doesn't even have a liquid in it. So I feel like it is reasonable, therefore, to say that cereal is not a soup unless you add liquid to it, in which case, if you add liquid to something, just about anything can be a soup. Anyways, this concludes my TED Talk. Next week we'll be talking about why a hot dog is a taco and not a sandwich, because of course it is. Just look at it. If it has bread on 3 sides, it's a taco. Oh, well, it may be reasonable to say that cereal is only kind of a soup because you have to add water to it for it to truly be a soup, or milk in this case. Suffice to say, cereal is not the only liquid-based conundrum that has been plaguing our generation for years. Another quite common calamity, nice C alliteration, is whether water is wet or not. Now, this also misses a very key piece of information, which is that water is not necessarily a liquid. This guy takes knockback tomorrow. Okay. However, to simplify this, I feel like it is reasonable to assume that if someone is asking if water is wet, they are referring to water in its liquid state because the other ones don't even have water as a liquid near them, so why would they be classified as wet? But then to answer this question, it's necessary to look into the actual definition of wet, because if it just means near water, of course water is near itself and therefore wet. But the Google definition of water says this is not my teammate. I was not paying attention. The Google definition of wet says to be covered or saturated with water. Oh, I leaned away from my mic. That was not smart. Anyways, point being that for water to be wet, I feel it's reasonable to assume that you need at least two water molecules to interact with each other. Therefore, one covers the other one and makes one of them wet. Oh, that's just a better player than me. Oh, that's okay. So if for something to be wet, it must be covered by water or another liquid, but we'll ignore that for now. It means that there must be at least two water molecules, because otherwise, you know, it's just a singular water molecule, and that doesn't do anything, or doesn't interact with other water molecules. But, oh, you got away. Oh, I didn't even place that TNT. Huh. If you wanted to argue the point, I might be willing to concede that it takes at least 4 to 5 water molecules, as one molecule being next to another one does not quite qualify as covering it, more that it's just simply interacting with it. So if you would like to argue that you need more... Oh no. I'm just going up here. If you would like to argue that you need more, I could see that being reasonable. Well, anyways, I hope you found this informative. Now you can go and make good decisions in life. Like I've realized that I should not play this version of Minecraft without practicing a lot. But whatever. Bye.